Happy Monday, TikTok. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Alrighty. Hello, TikTok. Good morning. Who's in the house today? Let's send this to Oscar, Anthony. Alrighty, happy Monday, everybody. It's another beautiful day here in Brazil, and today I would like to talk to you guys about trusting yourself. So I did a post this morning about trusting yourself, and I think most people believe that they trust themselves. Most people believe that they are smart, that they are capable of making decisions, that they are able to draw conclusions that will be for their own benefit. Most people think that they can trust themselves to make a decision. But when it comes to actually making decisions, you may be surprised to hear that actually you don't trust yourself at all. And this will be evident if you are not able to make quick decisions. I've just remembered that I'm supposed to be painting my nails. Right, I need to go get my nail stuff because I forgot to paint my nails. One moment. We'll just pop in here and get my nail stuff because look, my nails are terrible. Oh, they actually look all right on here, but they're really terrible. I promise. So we're gonna get my nail stuff. There we go. Okay, we're ready. So, when it comes to making decisions, most people think, yeah, I'm capable of making my own decisions. I make good decisions. And you may be surprised to find out that actually you don't trust yourself to make decisions. And this is really evident when you look at what happens when you have a decision to make. What do you do when you have a decision to make? So there's two ways that you can make decisions. The first way is potentially very time consuming. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of effort, it potentially costs money, it can take months or weeks to make a decision. And the second way of making decisions is instant. You can make a decision straight away. You don't need to invest any time, any money, any effort into it at all, and you will come out with the best decision for yourself. When you spend a long time making decisions, you're often going to find that you don't make the best decision for yourself. And the reason for this is that when you spend a long time making decisions, when you do a lot of research, when you get advice from friends, when you ask experts, you are putting your trust into somebody else to make that decision for you. Right? When you start researching to make a decision, you are looking at other people's opinions. You're looking at what other people did, and you're using that to base your decision off. And this is what most people do when it comes to decision making. Most people don't trust themselves. Most people, they want to go out and research. They want to go and ask their friends and their family. They want to make sure they're making the best decision by checking with other people. And think about this. How many times have you gone to your best friend to get relationship advice and your best friend isn't even in a relationship? How many times have you gone to your parents to ask them if they think that something is a good idea for your career and your mum has never had a job? She's a stay-at-home mum. How many times have you asked somebody for their opinion when you are making a decision and trusted that opinion, even though the person that you asked has no authority to be giving advice on that topic. We do this all the time, whenever we need to make a big, important, life-changing decision. We commonly go and ask somebody else for their advice. And sometimes we ask like an expert for their advice, but quite often we just ask the people in our lives. And those people are probably not better placed or best placed to make that kind of decision. They're definitely not not best placed. So this is how most people make decisions every single day. And the other method of making decisions, which is instant, which is stress-free, which is cost-free, and which gives us the best outcome for ourselves, nobody does this. Hi, Lewis. I asked my friends' advice to show them I care for their opinions. But what do you do if they give you bad advice? Is that showing them that you care for their opinions? Like, would you go so far as following bad advice just to show your friends you care for their opinions? Or would you not follow it and show your friends that you really don't care about their opinions because they give you bad advice? What do you do? So actually, I'm really glad you brought that up, because I've had this quite often through my life, and particularly now. So when I get dressed, when I do my hair, do my makeup, I get dressed for an event, I trust myself that I look good, in my own opinion. I don't like getting other people's opinions. So when I was at university, my friends would always be like, are you really going out in that? Why didn't you ask us? We don't like that skirt on you, whatever, right? My friends would give me their opinions and I'd be like, hey, I didn't ask for your opinion. I feel good in what I'm wearing. I'm going to wear this. I don't need to know if you like it or not. You're not wearing it. I don't care, right? And this would cause arguments with me and my friends sometimes, because they would be like, what do you mean you don't care about our opinion? And now I have it with my husband sometimes, because he likes to give me his opinion on what I'm wearing when we're going out. He's kind of learned not to anymore. And then would get offended if I didn't take on his opinion. He'd be like, oh, these pants aren't really appropriate for where we're going, or your underwear's showing through that. And my response is always, I don't care. I didn't ask for your opinion. I feel good in what I'm wearing. I'm fine. With clothes, right? With other things, I do ask for opinions. But with clothes, for me, it's about feeling good in what I'm wearing, not having somebody else think that I look good. But it has got me in problems, and it has offended my friends, my husband, that I don't want their opinion when it comes to what I'm wearing. So it's a really good point, Lewis. And people do expect us to ask for their opinion, and people do get offended when you don't ask for their opinion. But it's honestly ridiculous, because we all have the capability of making an instant beneficial decision for ourselves by consulting with our intuition. And that is how our body's going to react when we first hear about the opportunity, the idea, meet the new person, whatever it is, right? So whenever you come across a new opportunity or meet a new person, whatever it is, you will often get a reaction in your body. And this is how your higher self or your intuition communicates with you. It communicates with you through feelings in your body. So that sinking feeling that you get in your gut, like when you meet somebody that's like you don't feel that they're quite right, or you hear about an opportunity and it doesn't feel quite right to you, it doesn't feel good to you, you get that sinking feeling in your gut, like no, something's off, I know it's not right. That means the answer is a no. You don't need to do any more investigation into that. If you get that sinking feeling in your gut when you first hear about the opportunity, the idea, the decision, whatever it is, it's a no. Your body told you. And conversely, if when you hear the opportunity or you meet the person, you feel like you've known them your whole life, or the opportunity fills you with passion and excitement, you get that fluttery kind of upward feeling. Hi, Anthony. Good morning. If you get that expansive feeling, that like, oh, yeah, that sounds really great, the feeling in your body, that's a yes. You don't need to do any more research into it than that. And so when you think about this, and I ask you, do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself? How do you make decisions? Do you trust yourself to make decisions? Do you trust your gut instinct? Do you trust your intuition, your higher self? Or do you go seeking external validation? Do you go seeking the opinions of others? Because what you're doing when you're doing that is you are replacing what you know. You are replacing what your body has told you. You are replacing your own feelings with those of other people. And whether the reason is because you think they know best, or whether the reason is because you don't want to offend them, whether the reason is because you want to have them feel included in your decision, whatever the reason is, you are discounting your own opinion, discounting your own knowledge, and replacing it with that of somebody else. You don't trust yourself. And the thing is, with your intuition, when you react in that way, when you get a feeling in your body and you choose to ignore it, you know, it's happened to you, I'm sure. You've gotten that feeling in your gut that no, stay away from this feeling, and you've done it anyway, and it's gone wrong, right? Like, you guys have to have had that happen at least once. Hello, good morning, Hanato. Once. Hello, good morning, Hanato. Hi, Davi. You guys must have had that happen at least once, right? You get that feeling in your gut that like, no, I need to stay away, but like something made you do it anyway. Maybe your parents were telling you you had to do it, or maybe your friends were all doing it and it was like peer pressure. Whatever it is, parents were telling you you had to do it, or maybe your friends were all doing it and it was like peer pressure. Whatever it is, generally, if you've had that feeling in your gut, at some point later you've realized, I shouldn't have done that. It was wrong. Right? But you didn't trust yourself. You used your logical mind to override your intuition. And when you do that often, when you continue to do that, your intuition stops communicating with you. Or it doesn't stop communicating with you, but you don't feel it as much, right? Because your intuition kind of knows that you're not listening. So, right, hang on, I'm just going to choose a colour. I think we're going to do dark today. I've been doing like 2 colour mixes. I'd like to do some pictures, but I don't think I have time. Right, so we'll just do... they don't really go together, do they? These 2. Yeah, these 2. What's that? I have loads the same. Oh, yeah, I do have loads the same. Those are the same. Yes, they are the exact same. Good to know I have 2 of that one. Anthony, I haven't seen you for a while. I was just uploading my coaching sessions onto YouTube and I realised I wasn't live much last week. It's because on Thursday I did a live coaching session with another creator. So we did it on Instagram. He's more on Instagram. It was really fun. But yeah, it means I missed you guys on TikTok a few days last week with work and that. So yeah, do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself to make decisions? Do you trust the feelings that your body gives you when it comes to new opportunities, big decisions, life-changing decisions? So something that I've been talking about recently is my family and I plan to move to the beach. We visited Caraïva back in February. We fell in love with the place. We decided to move the family there. And the plan is to go in July. Now, of course, I have consulted with my intuition about this. This is a huge decision for us. It means pulling the kids out of school. The kids won't actually, they won't be able to go to school school in Caraeva. The school there is shut. It's a really small area, so I think the school there doesn't operate often. Hopefully it will be open next year and my 4-year-old will be able to go, but my 2-year-old will still not be able to go because he's not old enough. So he's been in like daycare here. So it's a big decision for us, not only because we're pulling them out of school here, but because we know we won't be able to put them back into school there. So we're going to have to look after them full time. Now, don't get me wrong. I love hanging out with my kids. And I hang out with them every morning. They only go to school for 4 hours. But I do make a lot of use of the time they're at school. That's when I go to the gym every day. That's when I work. So it's a big decision taking them out of school. I'm not quite sure how we're going to manage it, how we're going to manage going to the gym, how we're going to manage working, having the kids all the time. But my intuition says yes. And so that's all I need to know. And we're actually not even telling people IRL. I'm telling TikTok. We're not telling people IRL because we don't want them talking us out of the idea. A lot of our family here, they've lived here their whole lives. They've lived in this one city their whole lives. All of the family lives here. Some of them moved to Brasilia, about an hour away, but most of them just stay here. And so even though this is a huge decision, even though we're going to need our family's support with this decision, we're not telling them because we know that the type of people they are, they like to stay in one place. They don't like to take big risks. They like to live a conventional life. We know that they won't understand our decision and that they'll try and talk us out of it. And why would we take advice on moving from people that have never moved? Right? And this is what we do a lot of the time. Not just with moving, but particularly with relationships. How many times have you gotten relationship advice from one of your friends that's not in a relationship? It's actually really poignant for me. My best friend, we're the same age, our birthday's in the same month. And we've had a very different life when it comes to relationships. Like in most of my 20s, my early 30s, I was single. She was in a relationship. And then my late 30s, I got married and she became single. So we've kind of switched and swapped. But her relationship that she was in for a long time when I was single, it wasn't a great one. There was cheating, there was a lot of breaking up and getting back together, there was a lot of mistrust, there was a lot of spying on each other and things like this. And now she's single. And yet, she's always trying to give me marriage advice. She's never been married. She had one long-term relationship that didn't work out well, and now she's single. And she likes to give me relationship advice. And so I always politely tell her that I'm fine. You know, you can never really know what's going on in somebody else's relationship. You usually just hear the parts of it, the bad parts. And so this is something that happens very commonly, that we listen to relationship advice from our single friends. Or it's the same with when I started my business. I told my mum about it. I was excited. I told my mum about my new business idea. My mother is not a risk taker. She is a boomer. She's worked her whole life, lots of part-time jobs. She works really hard. She's been saving for retirement. She couldn't retire. She got to retirement age, she retired, and the next year she had to go back to work because the state of the economy, because the cost of living crisis, because her pension wasn't enough to cover her costs, basically. And so her method of working her whole life to save money, to have a comfortable retirement, it didn't work. And yet when I told her about my business idea, she said, no, you shouldn't do that, it's too risky. You need to just work for somebody else. Hey, Persian kittens! Oh my gosh, how exciting. I've forgotten where you were visiting. Sao Paulo? I know I asked you this last time because I had forgotten last time as well. So I'm sorry for forgetting again. But I've forgotten. Remind me where you are. But how fun. How long are you going to be? Rio. Excellent. That's not what you said though, was it? Are you travelling through Rio? I'm pretty sure Rio wasn't your answer. How long are you going to be here for? Few months? Forever? Few years? I suppose it doesn't matter. I did love the days when I used to travel and like not have a set end date. Just leave and assume everything was going to work out for the best. And of course it always did. And the dog is scratching my leg. Dog, don't scratch my leg. I have to like actually not wear shorts just because you and your scratching. How does that make you feel? I'm staying for a month, but ideally I would love to stay. Excellent. So find a way to stay. I did this in Australia. I went travelling around the world. I had my round the world ticket, and then I landed in Australia. And like a couple of days later, I met up with a friend of mine that I knew from London. I used to work with her in London, but she was Australian. And she was like, if you want to stay, I can probably get you a job here. And you know what? We were talking about making decisions, trusting ourselves to make our decisions. I did not think about it any more than that. I got an expansive feeling and I said, yes, okay, I'll stay. And I stayed there for 12 years and it all worked out fabulously. It's the importance of trusting yourself to make decisions. If I had gone away to think about that decision, I would probably have realised that I didn't have enough money to stay, right? Because I was backpacking, I hadn't worked for ages. And my savings were gone because Australia's really expensive. Well, it was really expensive then. It's really expensive now. And if I'd have asked my mum would have been like, no, you can't stay. You've got a property in London. What are you going to do with that? You don't have enough money. Like, how are you going to find a place to live without a job? You don't have a work visa, so you can't get a job. If I'd asked my mum, that's what she would have said. If I'd have asked my friends, they would have been like, no, come home. We miss you. You've already been gone for 6 months. Right? If I'd have looked into it, I probably would have gotten afraid about the fact that I didn't have money to pay for this move. I didn't have any of my stuff with me. I was backpacking. I just had one backpack. If I had done the thing that most people do when they make decisions, I never would have stayed in Australia. I never would have had the guts. It would have taken so much bravery to stay after all of the stuff that I would have found. But I didn't. I just listened to my gut. I stayed for 12 years. Everything was fine. So I hope you get some exciting opportunities, Persian kittens, to stay. And if and when you do, trust yourself when it comes to making the decision. Trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your body, trust the feelings that you get that help you make that decision. Don't go asking other people. Don't replace your knowledge, your intuition, your higher self with what other people think and what other people have experienced, because your experience is not theirs. You are you and they are them. I really want to go to Rio, as a side note. I haven't been yet. Now that I've started my new role, I'm hoping to do some more travel. And particularly because we will be going back and forth to Caraíba a bit. There are direct flights from here, but I think often we have to change through Sao Paulo or Rio. So I should have an opportunity to go visit Sao Paulo and Rio. Are you going to do the thing where you go jump off the Pau do Açúcar with the what's it called? Hang gliding. Are you going to go do the thing? Are you going to go do hang gliding? I so want to do hang gliding in Rio. It looks amazing. This one's running out a bit. Let's see if we can get all 10 nails done with this little bit. the end of its life. But look, I've got another one. So guys, this is a live coaching session. I am here to answer coaching questions from you. I love talking about life as well. But if you have anything that's keeping you stuck, if you're trying to make a decision yourself at the moment, if you've got a big decision in your life that you're trying to figure out what's the best thing to do, let me know in the chat. Let's make this decision for you together. Because if anything, I just want you to take from this that you are perfectly capable of making your own decisions. And in fact, you are best placed to make decisions that are about you. It's crazy to me how much people trust other people to make their decisions for them. People just give away all of their power. You are best placed to make decisions for yourself, and your intuition, your higher self, has all of the answers that you need to make the decision that's going to be the most beneficial to you and the people around you. And your friends will get over not being asked for their opinion at some point. Good morning, Wellen. How are you, lovely? Happy Monday. We're talking about decision making and how people often give over their decision making powers to other people, even when those other people don't have a clue what they're talking about. I'm actually thinking now if I can turn this into a video about the differences between Brits and Brazilians when it comes to decision making. Because, okay, yay, tell me, let me help you. I've been chattering to myself for half an hour already. I would love you to ask me a question. Look, I even got my nails painted. Usually I have to stop and start with the nail painting to read questions, but everybody's been very quiet this morning. Oh my God. What is this stuff? Stop it. Hi, Loon. We are just waiting for Wellen to pop her question in the box. It's really crazy what just happened. So, I'm living with my parents-in-law for almost a year, and I'm getting tired of asking my partner to leave. Oh, I remember the joys of living with my parents-in-law. You were gonna get an apartment, right? He keeps making excuses. You were looking at apartments to buy a little while ago. What happened with that? Are they going to buy you one or give you the deposit or something? Thinking about going back to the UK. Ooh, big move. We're still looking for an apartment. Okay, we're still looking for. This is perfect. This is perfect for today's topic of decision making. They keep making excuses. I'm getting tired. Okay, yeah, I get it. I had to live with my parents-in-law for 6 months last year. It was a shit show. I hated it. Of hearing things and nothing happening. Okay, well, so you're getting tired that nothing's happening. Lots of excuses, lots of talking, lots of delays, okay? My question to you is, why are you not making stuff happen? Why are you not making stuff happen? And I'm going to preempt your answer as a British person living in Brazil, because I do this as well. And the reason I do it is because I tell myself I can't speak Portuguese, so I need my husband to do it. Now, I am a proactive, make a decision, get out there and do it kind of person. I don't like waiting. I get very impatient. I don't like excuses. I just like to go. And so I found this very frustrating when I first arrived in Brazil, because I was relying on my husband to do stuff, and he is not proactive. He likes to rest and wait until the last possible second before doing the thing, and which in my opinion is doing it in the most stressful way, because then if anything goes wrong, you're already out of time. Anyway, we won't get into that. We do things different ways. And so I told myself I have to wait for him, because he's the Brazilian, he's the one that speaks Portuguese. I have to wait for him to do stuff. And it was driving me crazy, because I wanted to go do the thing, but I was telling myself I can't go do the thing, he has to do it. But that was the problem. I was telling myself that I had to wait for him to do it. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing. You're telling yourself that you have to wait for him to do it, or you have to wait for the parents to do it, or you have to wait for this, or you have to wait for that. And what you want to be doing is doing it. So my advice would be to go do it. So whatever it is, whether it's looking for a place to buy, you can do it. I know it's trickier, but you can. The only reason you can't is because you're telling yourself that you can't. You can go do the thing. And even if it's not even if there are some things that legally you can't do, or you need the money first, for buying the apartment, even if there are things that are actually stopping you from doing it, do the things you can do. All right, do the things you can do. So you've discussed this with your partner, you've talked about leaving, you've agreed to leave, right? You're just not doing it yet. So even if I'm the one who's looking for an apartment, I speak about it and it just gets walked over. Okay, it's about trusting yourself. It's about trusting yourself, that putting up your own boundaries, standing up for what you believe in, trusting yourself, putting your faith in yourself. You're getting ignored. You're getting walked over. Okay, and you're allowing that to happen. To some extent, you are allowing that to happen. I know this to be true because it's happening. You told me it's happening. If it's happening, it's because you are allowing it to happen. You need to create boundaries around what you will and will not accept. Now, this can be difficult with a partner, particularly when it's been one way ever since you've been together, or it's been one way for the last few years. How do you then step up to them and say, "Hey, no more. I'm putting a boundary here. I'm not doing this anymore." It can be challenging, but you have to have your self-worth, your self-appreciation, your faith in yourself, that you are strong, that you are making the right decisions, and that these boundaries will protect you and protect your relationship. Because ultimately, if this continues and you don't stand up for yourself, you don't start taking action, you don't start seeing the results that you want, it's going to be very tricky for your relationship, right? It's going to start causing problems. And when you're talking to your partner about this, when you're saying, "Look, I'm not willing to wait anymore. I will find us an apartment. I will secure what needs to be secured in order to get the apartment. And if you keep ignoring me, this is how it will be. I'll go move into the apartment by myself," or whatever. You have to create a boundary that you are comfortable with, and then stick to it. Right? This is for relationships. This is for parenting. This is for friendships. This is for relationships with your parents. This is for self-preservation, right? This is for your mental health. This is for you and for your relationships with everybody. You act in the way that feels most in alignment with yourself, and you create boundaries and expectations with others around how that's going to look. And it's up to them whether they want to deal with you or not, right? Because as humans, as people, as women, We have a tendency to bow down to others' needs. We have a tendency to people please. Like Louis was saying at the beginning of the live, he asks his friends for their opinions so that they can like feel good about themselves. But when you do that, when you cast aside your own thoughts and ask your friends for opinions, then you either get tied into making a potentially bad decision that they suggested so you don't hurt their feelings, or you hurt their feelings by making your own decision and walking all over them. It's the same thing, Wellen. You may think that by allowing yourself to be walked over, by allowing yourself to be ignored, that, you know, you're avoiding confrontation, you're not making war with the parents, you know, you're keeping things nice, but you're doing it to the detriment of yourself. You're doing it to the detriment of your own mental health, of your own self-preservation, and you are gradually chipping away at your own self to please others. And not only are you chipping away at your own self to please others, you're not even pleasing others. You're not. Because at some point, this is going to come to a head. And that head, i.e. what you just said, moving back to the UK, that head could be disastrous for everybody, right? So you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing your parents-in-law and your partner a disservice by not being honest about how you're feeling right now, right? And maybe you don't have the answers. Maybe, like you said, you don't know what to do. Maybe you don't know. You don't know how to move forward, and that's okay. But it's important to put your boundaries and make yourself clear with how you're feeling now, and let people know that you're not going to carry on like this, and not to be afraid of the reaction you're going to get from that. Because think about the reaction that you would get from telling them that you're moving back to the UK, right? Like, that's going to be a much bigger reaction, a much bigger deal. You have already done it. Well, you haven't done it enough. They don't understand. You haven't done it enough because they don't understand yet if they're still doing it. And that's, yeah, I was going to say, that's very common, right? People don't take you seriously because in the past, possibly, you have said, look, this is it, this is enough, I'm not doing this anymore, whatever it is you said, you put your boundary and you allowed them to cross it again. And this happens with parenting all the time. It's the same thing, right? You say to the kid, 1 more minute of screen time, and then after 1 minute, you're like, okay, it's going away. And they're like, no, and they start to lose their shit. And then you're like, okay, 1 more minute of screen time, right? You let them cross the boundary, and now every time you try and hold that boundary with them, they're going to know, but she let me cross it before, so I'm going to keep trying until she lets me again. And they keep trying, and eventually you crumble again. You've got to be sturdy in your boundary from the offset. So whatever that is, Wellen, nice hair. Thank you, Peter Sunshine. I do my own hair. In fact, this TikTok channel used to be a hair channel. I used to do hairstyles here. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see them. So have you ever dyed your hair? Yes, look at this terrible mess of dye. Lots. I've given them till next month. Okay. So when you've got boundaries and you've got deadlines, make sure they are aware of this, okay? You need to tell them. Not just once. You need to keep telling them. This is the date. So end of, where are we now? We're mid-May. So say it's mid-May, or end of June, whatever it is. Yeah, mid-June, end of June, whatever it is. Whatever is the date. By then, and be clear. This is my boundary. I need to know that I will be moving out by the 10th of June, and if it doesn't happen, I will be moving out by myself. Whatever it is, whatever is the consequence. It's like dealing with kids. Be very clear about the boundary, be very clear about the consequences, and be very clear about the reason that you're doing that, because they need to understand. We were meant to buy the apartment in June, but no one's doing anything. Oh my God, so you have the apartment And oh, I feel you. Oh my God, I feel you. That's so frustrating. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. So maybe it's not just your hairstylist is a famous celebrity. It's just me. So I think you probably need more than one of these deadlines, more than one of these boundaries, because when you're buying a place, there are steps you need to follow, and you're potentially going to lose it if you don't follow them in time, right? So if I were you, I wouldn't just have like this loose, I need to see some action by the end of next month. I would have, okay, this is the apartment that we're buying. The person needs to have the deposit by this date. The deposit needs to be with them by this date. If the deposit isn't with them by this date, we lose the apartment, I'm leaving. Whatever it is. Yes, I'm married. Because there are consequences here, right? And explain that to them. If we don't pay the deposit, we lose the apartment. I've spent a long time looking for this apartment. And there's probably some kind of comfort, right? Like the parents probably like having their son there. Your partner probably likes, sorry, I'm assuming it's a guy. Your parents probably like having their child there. Your partner probably enjoys being looked after by their parents. They're not really in a rush to leave, right? To them, it's like, yeah, we could buy the apartment, but also it's quite nice here. It's quite comfortable. I get my cooking done. I get my cleaning done. I get my mummy looking after me when I'm sick, right? You have all of this. You have all of this to overcome as well. So it's like, it's so important to be clear about those boundaries, to be clear about the consequences of them not respecting your boundaries, to take as much action as you can in order to move forward by yourself. And I'm married. I don't want to hang out. Thank you, Ellen. To be very clear about those boundaries, and because otherwise they're not going to do anything. They're so comfortable in their comfort zones, right? The other thing that I was going to say, which is potentially a little bit malicious, see what your intuition has to say about that, is if they are so comfortable in their nice comfortable situation, making them a little bit uncomfortable somehow. I don't know how, but I've even spoken to my mother-in-law. Yeah, your mother-in-law that loves having their kid at home, that doesn't want you guys to leave. I think you're going to need something that's a bit more forceful. Like, I love that you've put a deadline on it. I think that's good. I think there can be more deadlines. I think you can lay it out for them. Look, I'm going to give you so many chances. The deposit has to be done by this date. This has to be signed by this date. The apartment should be ours by this date. There are 3 deadlines here. We need to meet them all. I need to know that you're in this with me. I can't stay in this situation. It's bad for my mental health. And if these deadlines aren't met, if you don't respect what I'm saying to you, then I will have to leave by myself. Whatever it is. We are getting to lunchtime. TikTok's taken offense to Peter Sunshiner. So I've got to wind it down. Well, and is there anything more we can add to this? I feel like we're kind of still talking about this. I don't feel like we're at an end, but I do feel like potentially there are some things that you can action. It's really sad. I just got married. Whew. Okay. I just got married and I feel like I shouldn't have any advice. Yes. Marriage is hard, okay? Marriage is a constant choice. A constant choice to choose love. This is something that I have experienced recently as well. Like, I definitely get this sometimes. I'm alone, nothing is happening, I can't do what I want to do. Should I have done this? Should I be here, right? Firstly, you know the answer to whether you want to be with your husband. You know the answer. Okay, hang on. Let's mute. Yeah. Okay. You know the answer to if you want to be with him, right? Maybe you don't think that you do, but you do. You know the answer to if you want to be with him. Remove all the other stuff. Remove the parents-in-law, remove the apartment situation, remove the Brazil, remove all of the stuff. Do you want to be with him? Is he your person? Do you love him? Okay? You take the answer to that question and you move forward with that answer. If you love him and you want to be with him and you want to make it work, you are choosing love. It's not a one-time thing. You don't say yes at the altar and then that's it. You live happily ever after. You have to keep choosing love all the time, in every argument, in every triggering situation, in every disaster. You keep choosing love if that's the decision that you made, right? And the decision may change over time. Decisions do change over time. But you know that. You know inside of you what the right answer is to whether you want to keep choosing love, because it's not easy to keep choosing love. It's not easy. You have to really love the person. Otherwise it becomes very difficult to keep choosing love. I love him so much, but over the last year, everything he does is making me question things. I don't feel heard. Okay, so the main part is you love him, you choose love, you're staying together. The next part is, sorry, I lost my Wi-Fi. Love is the foundation. Love is the thing that will keep you together. Okay, love is the thing that will make it work. It's not enough, but it's the prerequisite. It's the foundation. It's the one thing you've got to have first in order to make it work. So after you've decided to choose love, you have to keep doing that. And sometimes it means taking the high road. Sometimes it means putting aside what you're thinking about and trying to see things from his perspective. And sometimes as partners, we don't want to do that because we don't feel heard. So we feel like, why the fuck am I going to sit here and try and figure out why I'm wrong in all of this and try and figure out my responsibility in all of this when they aren't listening to me, when they aren't doing what I asked them to do. Okay, and it's this for me, this is what's hard about relationships and about what love is, putting aside my own I'm right, putting aside my own feelings of being right and taking a look at it from their side to see how I can change. Because to make a relationship work, expecting them to change isn't going to do that. Expecting them to be different isn't going to work. You can only work on yourself. You can only work on your own expectations, and you can only work on how you are. And the hope that is that if you do that enough, they will follow your lead and do that too. And in my experience, that has been the case. I've had to bite my tongue so many times and just be like, okay, I'm right, but okay, I'm just going to listen to you, all right. Like, I'll just keep my mouth shut and I'll just listen. And it fucking hurts sometimes. Like, I'll be sat there just like, because what I'm hearing is, the allegations and the, all of the stuff that I did wrong. And in my head, I'm just like, but I'm right, and it's hard. It's like, just keep the mouth shut and listen. But it's the only way that you can actually hear what they're saying, right? Hear what they're saying and go and investigate your own behavior. So in this case, well, you are not feeling heard. You are not feeling, you're feeling like you're being walked over. You're feeling ignored, okay? How is your partner feeling? How is your partner feeling? And sometimes there's a clue in the way that we feel, because sometimes, quite often in my experience, we're actually just projecting, we're kind of projecting what we're doing to our partner out onto them. So in your case, with my case, it was controlling. I felt like, anyway, it doesn't matter. I've not got time. But for you, it's not feeling heard. It's feeling ignored, feeling walked over. You've said all of these things. What are you doing to your husband? Are you listening to him? Are you hearing him? He says he's stressed and wants to leave, but I see nothing being done, and that's the thing. Okay, well then, this is important. He says he's stressed and wants to leave, but I see nothing. Well then, you're doing to him what you're accusing him of doing to you. You said he's not listening to you. You don't feel heard, okay? You're doing that to him. Look what you wrote. He says he's stressed and he wants to leave, but I see nothing. He's telling you how he's feeling and you're ignoring him. This is important. It's hard to hear. I know. But stick with me. You're ignoring him. You're not hearing him. He's stressed and he wants to leave. He's not taking action, okay? I don't know what type of person he is. I don't know his astrology. I don't know his human design. I don't know his personality. But maybe he's not the proactive type. Maybe he's not the type that is, the type that goes out there and does the stuff. There are people like that. There are people that don't take action until it's the last minute, until it's too late. They need to feel that pressure. And rightly or wrongly, it doesn't matter because we can't control what other people are doing, right? We have the money for it. I feel like it's just, you feel like that. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. It doesn't really matter what the truth is. What matters is, hang on, why do you think I'm still here? We've been trying to work it out for 6 months. I try my best. What matters is, well then, at some, hey Maddie, thank you. At some point, on some level, he is speaking to you and you're not hearing him. You're putting your own experiences, you're putting your own thoughts and opinions out onto him about the frustration, about not seeing anything being done. And rightly or wrongly, it doesn't matter. This is where it gets hard. Because it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. What matters is you're telling him that you don't feel heard and you're not listening to him. I have to end the live now. I've gone 10 minutes over. I'm so sorry if this is cutting off in the middle. Please come back tomorrow. We can talk about this more. But for now, Wellen, I want you to talk to your partner, and I want you to open the conversation with, this is how I'm feeling, this is my boundary, and then no more talking. And don't be thinking about what you would be saying. Just listen. Active listening, okay? Just listen. And don't respond. Don't give your opinion back. Don't respond. Just listen. It's really hard. It's really hard. I know, it's really hard. Okay, but go do it. Just listen. Okay? And then afterwards, go think about what he said and see if you can see any truth in it. It might be really hard to see. It might be like looking for something with all of the lights off. But there will be some truth in it. You've got to find it. And then once you find that little bit of truth in it and accepted it, taken responsibility for it, that's when you can open up a new dialogue and not just have the same conversation over and over again. Because it will be, like, if you approach it the same way with, this is my opinion, my opinion's better, you're never going to get anywhere, right? In order to change things, one of you has to be like, okay, I'm just going to listen. And then this one's going to keep going. I'm right. And you're going to be like, yeah, okay, you're right. I see it. I can see where you're right. And then this person is going to be like, oh, okay. So let's talk. Right? Because now they're feeling heard. So my advice is do that. Have a conversation. If you feel like you are not being heard, go listen. Don't say anything back. Listen, take it in, go away afterwards, sit, think about it, look for truth in what he said, and then approach the conversation again. I usually sit down and ask him, hey, so this is how this is going on. Okay, so this is going on. How are we going to resolve it? How do you feel about it? Then he tells me. Okay, yeah, open it up like that. That's fine. Open it up like that. But then just don't speak afterwards, okay? You can nod or agree, but that's it. Okay, I've got to go. Thank you so much. Please do come back whenever it is. At least tell me what happened, or like we can keep talking about it. I appreciate you. You can also remember join the community. The link is in my bio. You can reach out to me anytime there. DM me. Book one-on-one coaching sessions with me. You will be eligible for a free group coaching session if you post an introduction post in the introduce yourself section. Maddie was at my last one of those. And stay in touch. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow.